Hello friends, it's the Stitches and we have another zine review. I said I was gonna do them, so here is my second one. Today we have some vintage zines for you. These are all of the zines that were written by Kathleen Hanna and Bikini Kill. Well, all the ones that I have. I'm pretty sure there are a few more because I only have Bikini Kill 2. I don't have Bikini Kill 1, and then I have like the coloring book, even though it's not a coloring book. But we're gonna go through the ones that I have, and I'm not gonna flip through every single page because these are quite long. They are not fashion zines, they are feminist zines, so they are much thicker. Like this is the longest one, and he is nice and juicy. So we're gonna kind of just do a rough overview of them, more of like an actual review instead of a flip through. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello, Catherine from the future here. I am editing this video and I literally just now realized that I never once mentioned who Kathleen Hanna is or what Bikini Kill was. So basically, Bikini Kill was a band from the early 90s that basically founded a genre of music called Riot Grrrl. Riot Grrrl sort of became a bit of a subculture in the mid to late 90s that introduced a lot of young women to third wave feminism. So if that's something that you're interested in, I definitely recommend checking them out. Riot Grrrl is really interesting. If you don't like Bikini Kill because of how rough it can sound, I also recommend checking out bands like Bratmobile, Heavens to Betsy, 7 Year Bitch, things like that. I'm going to talk about this one the briefest because there's not a whole lot in it. It's honestly kind of just a rant about this pop star. But I do like some of the art in it. My favorite piece is probably this one. It says, "I get so much shit for dancing naked. I am a very bad person. I am exploiting men." And then, so next up, these are all of the full-size zines that I have. This is the official Kathleen Hanna newsletter. I think this is from later, yeah, 1996. I think this is pretty much after Bikini Kill had started to go downhill. There's not a whole lot in this. This is probably the thinnest of all of them. She kind of just talks about some issues that she is passionate about at the moment, and she also gives a plug to Kill Rock Stars, which is in Olympia. I was actually literally right down the street from this address when I was doing the Olympia Zine Fest. So of these three, these two are my favorites. Like, these two are my favorite Bikini Kill Kathleen Hanna zines, and then we have this one, which is, it claims to be a color and activity book, but it's really just a regular zine. I mean, there are these pictures in it, but then it's mostly just a collage of articles. Yeah. We have this one that says Understanding Privilege. They do a lot of like just spreading feminist theory. So I bought these from an Etsy shop that is now a full distro called Riot Grrrl Press. These aren't necessarily perfect quality because of that. Unfortunately, a thing with vintage zines is that, you know, they're Xeroxed over and over and over again. You know, one person buys the original, but then they Xerox it and send it off to a bunch of people, and then they Xerox it and send it off to a bunch of people, and then by the time you get it in your hands, like, the pictures look like this, and you're like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be looking at, but I'm into it. Like this, you have sections like this that are practically legible. This is actually one of the better scenes. Like, this section, it's pretty difficult to sit and read these, which is kind of unfortunate because a lot of the articles in these are really good. The one where I am most disappointed in the quality is this one. Not because this one is necessarily worse quality than the others, but because this one just has it's the type of information where you really want to sit and read it. So most of it is actually pretty good, but then you have some sections where the ink is just like, I don't know what you're doing here. Yeah, so this is the one that is the most serious. Like, if you're only going to buy one Kathleen Hanna zine, this is the one. This she wrote a little bit later on. She actually mentions that she's working on this scene in this scene. So this was written after Bikini Kill and all of that stuff. But essentially this is a zine about addiction. So she has a very long interview with another punk artist that is a recovering heroin addict, I believe. At this point, Kathleen Hanna was a recovering alcoholic. She had started really working on recovery. So this says spring 1995 in it, even though this one is 96. It took her a long time to finish this. She was working on this for quite a while. So there are some handwritten sections, there are some typed sections. Like, when you get to this tiny little lettering, like, some of the words get kind of jumbled up because of the quality. But this one actually isn't too bad either. So this is her interview. She's got a lot of interview sections. Yeah, the following is a conversation between Brian Sparhawk and Kathleen Hanna. Brian is a bass player for Fits of Depression. And yeah, so there's this. Another part that I really like that was actually really useful is that, here we go. So she actually went and found a textbook about addiction. This is specifically explains heroin addiction and why and how it happens. And yeah, it says, watch us educate ourselves and each other behind the Matlock aesthetic, I think is supposed to be. Guy's back. Let the Richard Marx die of his Sizzler buffet existence, not us. Hang loose. Yeah. This section is titled Heroin in the Body. Yeah, I really like this particular zine a lot because it's really just, it's just trying to help. It's genuinely a good resource. So yeah, April Fool's Day, if you are looking for a zine that you would actually want to go and buy out of this, I would highly recommend this one. You can get it from Riot Grrrl Press. This obviously isn't sponsored. I only have like 300 subs. I'm not sponsored by anybody. But like, if you were to look at these and be like, yes, I would like to purchase, this is the one. I think you can get, I bought just this in a set of zines, which was significantly cheaper than buying them all separately, but if you didn't want to get all of them, that would be the one. This is also a really good one. This is my favorite. This is Bikini Girl #2, Girl Power, and it's just like tons of pages of just aggressive girl love. It's just a bunch of articles. Unfortunately, this is one of the ones where it's like, what is happening here? Who can read that? Because it's just, these were zines that they would hand out at shows. And so somebody would go to the show and copy it and distribute and copy and distribute and copy and distribute. So this is probably like been through a copy machine 10 times before it got to the one that I bought. So I really like this particular article inside of it. It's talking about dorky girls and how dorky girls are actually the cool ones because we're the ones that actually love things. Yeah. And then this, a similar article to this was in Bikini Kill #1, I guess. And written as a response was this article. I actually remember reading in a book about the Riot Grrrl scene. This exact letter was mentioned in it. And this was actually written by a girl who went on to make a Riot Grrrl band, a Riot Grrrl band, and that band was called Bratmobile, which is like my favorite band. So I wish I could read all of it, but what is here is really interesting. I really like reading stuff like this because it gives you a really interesting perspective into just the mind of people that do go on to create awesome things, and how like they really are just regular people that just felt inspired to do something and then did it. And like that gives me incredible inspiration myself to go and do the thing. So if you're looking for doing the thing inspiration, I definitely recommend stuff like this. We have somebody at some point went and got this their copy of this zine autographed by clearly this band that got interviewed for it. So now I have the version of it that got autographed. But yeah, here's more of what I said. Like, this just looks like photocopier vomit at this point. Oh my god. Vintage zines. But yeah, those are the main things I wanted to point out about these and just chat about with these. I just think they're really fun. I really like just, I mean, on the one hand, I'm a huge Bikini Kill fan, so this is just, you know, memorabilia of Bikini Kill. I know there are some, like, controversies around Kathleen Hanna and transphobia, and, like, transphobia is terrible, but, I mean, for the other things that she talked about, I guess, yeah. But, I really love the strong girl love messages in these. I just really love all of the, you know, the good intentions in these. And yeah, I do recommend getting a version that doesn't look awful, but like, these aren't super easy to get your hands on. I'm pretty sure Riot Grrrl Press is the only one who's actually selling copies, but if you know somebody else who has a pretty sizable zine collection, you know, see if they have a copy of these that they'd be willing to reproduce for you. These were originally made with the intention of having other people reproduce them and distribute them, so like it's not like it's the type of thing where you have to worry about copyright violations. But yeah, I hope everybody has a good day, and I hope somebody checks out some zines somewhere, and I will see you all next time. Bye!